first graders, I'm going to read you another story like the one we read for Mother's Day. It's the same characters. It's called A Piece of Cake by Jill Murphy. Do you remember when the mom wanted 5 minutes peace? Well, this is the same mom and another silly story. There they all are, and it says this book belongs to Mrs. Bales. And in this story, you'll meet the dad in the story, the father. And they look like they're doing lots of exercising. A piece of cake. This is a silly book. I'm fat, said Mrs. Large. No, you're not, said Lester. You're our cuddly mommy, said Laura. You're just right, said Luke. Mommy's got wobbly bits, said the baby. Exactly, said Mrs. Large. As I was saying, I'm fat, which is kind of a silly thing to say, right? There's all the kids. We must all go on a diet, said Mrs. Large. No more cake, no more cookies, no more potato chips, no more sitting around all day. From now on, it's healthy living. And look what she's doing with all their sweets. And bread and even bananas. She's putting it all in the trash. That's not really a healthy way to be, to have nothing junky in the house at all. Can we watch TV? Asked Lester as they trooped in from school. Certainly not, said Mrs. Large. We're all off for a nice healthy jog around the park. And they were. So look how tired they are after school. And now she says, get outside. We're going to go get some exercise. What's our snack, Mom? Asked Laura when they arrived home. Some nice, healthy watercress soup. Watercress is kind of like cucumbers, said Mrs. Large, followed by a nice, healthy cup of water. Oh, said Laura, that sounds nice. And there they all are eating the watercress soup. They don't look too happy. I'm just going to watch the news, dear, said Mr. Large when he came home from work. No, you're not, dear, said Mrs. Large. You're off for a nice, healthy jog around the park, followed by supper. Delicious fish with grated carrots. I can't wait, said Mr. Large. Does that look too tasty? Look at that. I think fish can be really tasty, but that doesn't look too tasty. It was awful. Every morning there was a healthy breakfast followed by exercises. Then there was a healthy snack followed by a healthy jog. By the time evening came, everyone felt terrible because they're elephants. They need to eat a lot of food. They're probably not eating enough food. And so look, they don't have any energy. Look at them. They're all asleep on each other. We aren't getting any thinner, dear, said Mr. Large. Perhaps elephants are meant to be fat, said Luke. Nonsense, said Mrs. Large. We mustn't give up now. Wibbly wobbly, went the baby. I think Mr. Large is right. I'm not sure elephants are meant to be very thin. They're kind of big creatures. This is really funny. One morning, a parcel arrived. See it? A parcel is another word for package. It was a cake from Granny. Everyone stared at it hopefully. Mrs. Large put it into the cupboard on a high shelf. Just in case we have visitors, she said sternly, so she wasn't going to let anybody touch that cake. She put it on a high shelf. In case they had someone to come visit that they could share it with. Everyone kept thinking about the cake. They thought about it during the healthy jog. They thought about it during supper. They thought about it in bed that night. Mrs. Large sat up. I can't stand it anymore, she said to herself. I must have a piece of that cake. And this is my favorite part of the story. Really funny. Mrs. Large crept out of bed and went downstairs to the kitchen. She took a knife out of the drawer and opened the cupboard. But look at the cake. There was only one piece left. Just one piece. And do you notice anybody else? And I'll show you the picture again. Do you notice anybody else in the picture? Look under the table. Who's that big head? Is that Mr. Large? Are those all the little Larges? I think they maybe ate some cake too. Aha! Said Mr. Large, seeing the knife. Caught in the act! Mrs. Large switched on the light and saw Mr. Large and all the children hiding under the table. There is one piece left, said Laura in a helpful way. I think they're going to let the mom have it. Mrs. Large began to laugh. We're all as bad as each other, she said, eating the last piece of cake before anyone else did. I do think elephants are meant to be fat, said Luke. I think you're probably right, dear, said Mrs. Large. And you know what the baby said? What did the baby say? Wibbly wobbly, wibbly wobbly, went the baby. These elephants are supposed to be kind of wibbly wobbly. And there they are. Maybe they're still going to have exercise, which is a good idea. And that is the end of A Piece of Cake, a really silly story about the Large family. Have a great weekend.